Hi, it's Jane from Audicity, and I thought I would put together a video, a very brief one, a very introductory one, to the two most important emotions that probably need to be managed around the world of finance and certainly around the world of crypto. And they're two emotions that I see scuppering people over and over and over again. So those emotions are the emotions of fear and the emotions of greed. And they are two emotions that always work hand in hand with each other. The minute there's greed involved in anything, fear is sniffing at its heels. So let's just analyze very quickly how these emotions might be affecting each of us in a community like this. So since I started looking at the community around crypto projects, I looked at a community that became very focused, or seemed to me to be very, very focused on the money that could be made by getting involved in different projects. People were talking about all these incredibly high returns on investment that were available to them, especially people who were early adopters into any of these projects. Now, no matter how you look at things, it is very easy to get swallowed up by the emotion of greed when that happens, where people are plowing money into something that just looks absolutely magical to them. Just more and more money, reinvesting and reinvesting and reinvesting back into a project that is pumping out incredible returns. Sometimes they're taking those returns and they're taking them in huge big slews of cash in a market that is not yet liquid enough to manage these huge exits of resource. And of course, the market then goes up and down and causes huge amounts of emotion in its own right. So I watch people, taking huge amounts of money, huge chunks of money, and splashing the cash on everything, making decisions, leaving jobs, deciding that this is their future, assuming that these returns on investment are going to be sustainable. And that's a very big assumption to make, because most of the returns that I see are absolutely, there is no way that those projects can possibly sustain those returns. So you'll either have people that have taken huge amounts of money out of projects, or people who are reinvesting and reinvesting and reinvesting back into the project. If they have got X amount of nodes or X amount of interest in a project, and they can increase that and increase that and increase that, they just see dollar signs in front of their eyes, and wow, that greed, it just literally starts to consume them. Trouble is that people want to see what they want to see. They look for these unbelievable returns on investment, and they only want to get involved in projects that are literally offering things that are impossible. And then they crash. And then the fear sets in. Because what do I do now? What do I do? How do I recoup this investment? That greed is sitting there, but the fear is going, I'm too scared to get involved in anything else, because what happens if it happens again? I watch people who have made losses in this space and keep investing more and more money and keep throwing everything that they have into new projects with new returns on investment promises, and losing it all over again. I'm watching the rich get richer, and I'm watching the poor get poorer. And I'm watching fear and greed playing with each other all the time. People who are avoiding small returns because they need to make the big returns to make back some of the money that they feel like they've lost. I see caution around things that need caution, but I also see people seeing candlesticks, huge big green candlesticks on charts, and throwing money at those, assuming that those candlesticks will belong to them as well, that they'll make those huge amounts of money. I have watched people being scammed because they see what they want to see. I've watched people holding on relentlessly because they're too scared to admit that maybe they're holding on to a shooting star as opposed to one that's going to stay in the sky. I have watched really good ideas and good projects not come to fruition because there is fear around getting involved in them. Now, both of these emotions are very, very understandable, but they need to be identified and they need to be managed. So when you're sitting in front of your computer, as I know you will be doing, or your phone or your iPad, and you're trying to make decisions around this space, give yourself time. Give yourself time to do research into the projects that you want to get involved in. Reach out to people who are in the community and may have knowledge that you need. And when things are going well, stop and think before you take anything for granted. I've always said the best verse in the whole Bible is the verse that says, "This too shall pass." Things that are going exceptionally well aren't necessarily going to go exceptionally well always. And things that are going exceptionally badly are not going to go exceptionally badly always. It's about balance. And very importantly, it's about recognizing that fear and that greed. And taking the time to sit and feel what that emotion is trying to get you to do. And then exit that emotion and think about the reality of what is the right thing to do. It's a very difficult path to tread, but chasing losses is a fool's game. And expecting incredibly high returns to be sustainable is highly unlikely. When people get in early in projects, granted, they will often make money. But sometimes when we've missed opportunities because of fear, or we haven't exited something because of fear of missing out, how do we deal with that? So sit and analyze your behavior. Feel the fear, feel the greed, and make your decisions removing those emotions. You have to step away from the gut feelings and reactions that both of those very strong emotions evoke. We can talk about this in a whole lot more detail, but my main aim here is to just make you aware of feeling those feelings and not making decisions that are guided by those two feelings. I hope this has given you some food for thought.